Hello everyone, I want to do another quick video to show you how you should customize your screens when you get your new Toyota Prius Prime 2017 from the dealership. So when I first got this car, this is pretty much how it looks like to me, and I had to figure out how to customize the screens that you're seeing right now. So on the left side, that's considered the main display, and then the second screen to the right, that's the multi-information display. So I can use a multifunctional control on the right side of my steering wheel to move left and right, as you can see here, and that will cycle through the different screens and the different options that's there. So on the first section here, you will see the energy monitor that shows you how the energy is being used, whether it is powered by the battery or the electric motor, which is the middle piece, is being used, or if the gas engine is being used, which is the piece that's in the front of the car. Right now the AC is off, so I'm going to turn on the AC. You will see what happens. So I turn the AC on. You might hear a little bit of humming and fan noise, but now it's showing that the battery is powering the climate control. Okay, so I'm going to turn that off real fast. So if I scroll down, it goes to the hybrid system indicator, and this gives you an idea how your driving performs and how well you're doing in terms of their scoring system. They want you to start slow, maintain your speed, and brake as slow as possible without obviously causing a problem with the traffic behind you, because the longer you brake, the more recharge that you are able to generate to your traction battery. This is how the hybrid works. And then of course on the top corner, which is a little hard to see right now unless I switch gear, but it's gonna beep at me because I'm parking in the garage and there's a cabinet in front of me. So if I switch the gear right now to drive, you will see it lights up in the front. The proximity sensor kicks in, telling me this obstacle in the front. But now you can see the hybrid system lights up. According to the calculation here, I have 21.3 miles left on electrical charge only, and it's near full battery, but it's like 96-97% right now. So let me switch to parking gear so I can show you the other portions. And so if I scroll down again, you'll see how you use your fuel consumption for the last 5 mile, 1 mile, and then the electricity generation or usage from the last mile, 5 mile. Actually, technically the indicator is showing you the total for the last 30 miles, but it's broken up based on 1 mile or 5 mile intervals. Okay, so now the next screen down is the drive monitor. This gives you an idea how your driving has been for, in this case, the last 45 hours. My average speed is 20 miles per hour, and the driving ratio on electric vehicle only for me is 36%. And if I click on the trip select button, it will show different information. Obviously, we have the ability to track trip A and B, and it'll give you the different calculation for each trip as well. And of course, it also tracks how your usage has been after, since the last time you started your car. So technically right now my car has been started. The engine is just now on since I'm not moving, which is the beauty of the hybrid. Okay, so now I'm gonna go down. So this is the drive monitor 2. Gives you an idea how long, I guess, how much driving you have been able to do and how much driving you can do more based on the current charge. And with the AC, it will be 19.4 miles based on the total charge right now. Without the AC, it will be 21.3 miles on the electric only. And let me go down to the next portion, Eco Diary. This tracks basically your usage for I think the last 30 days, unless you set the clock. If you set the clock forward, it maintains the diary. If you set the clock backwards and back to some of the previous dates, it will actually override the previous dates. And now we're back to Energy Monitor. Okay, so that's the basic overview of the multi-informational display. But one thing I want to show you is how to customize that as well as the main screen on the left side. So you will see on the left side right now it's just basically showing the speed, how many miles per hour, and if I click on the trip button, which is on the left hand side of my steering wheel, it will cycle through the different options. Obviously this shows me the total odometer reading, how many miles I've driven, and the average miles per gallon based on the combination use of electric versus gasoline, or both, depending on how your driving is. Sometimes you'll see that only the electric motor kicks in, sometimes you'll see the gas engine kicks in, sometimes you'll see both. So also I just cycled through the trip A. You'll see in this case I have driven 72.7 miles and it's average 49.6, which is way below the 54 listed marketing number. But I've just to show you, if I go back to my odometer reading, you can see right here 915 miles total so far, and it's about 50.6 miles per gallon. But if I go to trip B, you'll see that I'm actually able to get up to 54.6. At some point I've actually seen 56, 57 miles per gallon. Just depends on how you drive. Yeah, obviously if you drive on flat land you get better mileage than if you drive up and down hills. And then this number shows you like in this case I have 92 miles left that I can go before I will have to refuel based on the current gasoline and the combination usage of the electric motor as well. Okay, so what I want to show you now is if I move to the right side of the multi-informational display, the first screen, remember, is all the different gauges, that's hybrid system I was showing you. Second screen is basically the compass in combination with the route guidance system, the navigation system. So if you set navigation on, you will see navigation information here. When you need to turn, how much distance you need to go before you need to turn, or before you merge onto freeway, or whatever it might be. The next screen here is basically music. I have the audio off right now, but technically if I push the multi-directional control on the right side of my steering wheel, I can then select the different sources. FM radio, satellite radio, Bluetooth from my phone, and it could be anything that's playing audio from my phone, whether it's news radio, some streaming video app, or even if it's internet radio like iHeartRadio, it will all play through the Bluetooth. And then there's a USB audio connection right next to the console as well, so if you plug in the phone directly, it will play from USB. Then you can also plug in an iPod, auxiliary input. There's an auxiliary jack, typical 3.5 millimeter jack that's next to the USB audio port, and then AM radio, and now showing me the iHeartRadio from my phone because my Bluetooth is on and it's connected to my phone, Pandora and Slacker as well for my phone. And of course you get the typical 90-day satellite XM series satellite radio trial as well. So now if I go back to the fourth screen here, this is the climate control. This is where you can kind of control the setting. You can also do it on the 11.6 high def multimedia screen as well, but you have the option to kind of play around with the different setting here. You want recycle air versus air from the outside, or if you want the fan speed to be a certain speed. So the one caveat here I noticed is that if you set the climate control to be on, I'll switch to, so I'm going to show you this is the lower half of the 11.6 multimedia screen. This is how the climate control looks like. So if I click on auto here, everything is auto, including the air circulation features and everything. Now if I go back to here, you will see this fan speed is auto, right? So if I switch this to one of the manual settings, one of the manual 6-speed settings, I will not be able to go back to auto here. I can only enable auto from the 11.6 screen here. So once I click on auto back on this side, the fan speed is back to auto here. That's the only thing I cannot do on this screen. And then I can set this to be eco mode or normal. So obviously eco mode, I think it handles the AC system better. It tries to control the climate temperature and reduce the battery usage. So I haven't noticed a reason why I would not want to use eco mode unless I'm driving to some really hot place or really cold place or something. I need to make sure I have full blast. And then you can set the temperature as well. And you can do that on your multimedia 11.6-inch display. And there are buttons right on the side of that screen that allow you to change the temperature up and down without having to touch it, touch this screen or the 11.6-inch screen to do that. So now I'm going to go to the next screen down. So this screen is basically the lane departure alert as in combination with your cruise control, the dynamic radar cruise control. So it's hard to demonstrate right now since I'm not driving, but basically it uses a radar and camera to detect the distance between your car and the car in front of you to automatically slow down your car and even stop if you're hitting bumper to bumper traffic, even on the freeway. So you won't be able to engage your cruise control until you're at least 32 miles per hour. And once it's engaged, you can increase the speed up and down, and it will gradually increase the speed and reduce the speed based on the distance of the car in front of you. So if there are no car in front of you, it will pick up speed and go to whatever speed you set your cruise control to. And as soon as the car gets in range of you, I would say about probably 75 feet or so, that's when it detects the car in front of you, and you will see 3 bars between you and the car in the front, and it will automatically adjust the speed based on the distance between you and the car in front. And that works pretty well in most cases until you get to sharp turns. So just remember, cruise control is not designed for sharp turns. It's designed for relatively straight roads, and it works better if the camera and I would say the camera is able to detect the lines between the different lanes. If the lanes don't really have solid lines because of snow or oil or water or something, or if they're just mainly reflectors on the road, not really lines, painted lines, then this system probably will not work too well. So then the screen after that is messages. So these are not your text messages. The text messages will actually show up on the 11.6-inch screen. This screen is supposed to show system-related messages. So there are system errors, critical errors, some equipment failures or something. It's supposed to display here. Obviously, this is a new car, so you won't be able to see anything here yet. And then lastly, this is the settings screen. And this is where I kind of want to give you a brief description what options you have for those of you that are interested. So when I go to the top, the first option here is to turn the lane departure and assistance, the steering assist mode. What that does is if you drift off to the left side or the right side and you start to pass the lines on either the left or the right, if you have the steering assist mode on, which is on by default, it will actually steer back to the opposite side for you. It kind of slightly steers it so that you don't go fully past the line. So as soon as your tire starts to go over the line, that's when it kind of kicks in. And if you kind of let go the steering wheel, you will actually see that the car will be steered back, but it's not going to really keep it in the middle of the lane for you. So you still have to take control. It's not meant for you to drive freely like a driverless mode like Tesla can. So don't depend on that. But the idea is if you accidentally fall asleep and you pass the line, the car will at least try to steer back for you, so you're not drifting off all the way to the left or the right side. But this also works similar to the cruise control. So if your car is driving on sharp turns or something, this is not going to work. Your car will basically just drive straight over the line, and the steering assist will not kick in, and it will not counter that effect fast enough. So don't fall asleep thinking that this will take care of you and your car for you. So the next one down, this is a sensitivity for the lane departure alert. You can set this to high standard just by pushing the middle button on the multi-directional control on the right side of the steering wheel. Now it's the pre-collision system on and off. By default it's on. So this will actually brake your car for you if it detects that your car is about to collide with the object in front, whether it's another vehicle or wall, whatever it might be. It only kicked in for me one time, but I was actually already moving pretty slowly in traffic. It was regular city traffic, and it was bumper to bumper, but I didn't brake, I guess, fast enough, so I came to about 1 foot, 2 foot behind a car in front of me, and the pre-collision system kicked in and actually did a hard brake for me. So it jerked me a little, but I guess it's good. Technically, if maybe my foot slipped off of the brake or something, maybe I just looked away and didn't realize there was a car in front of me, this probably would have saved me that insurance damage. And then if I go down to the next option, this is the sensitivity for the pre-collision. So you push the middle button on the multi-directional control, you can adjust the sensitivity and the distance. So I've been leaving it on 3 bars, which is the default, and it's fine. Then the next option is the turn parking assist. So I haven't tried this, but apparently this car can park for you. The option to turn that feature on is actually on the bottom left part of your steering wheel, right next to the heads-up display control. So apparently you pull your car to the side of a vehicle like you normally would for parallel parking. You push that button and it's supposed to guide you. Honestly, I haven't tried that, so I can't really tell you guys how it works. So then the one feature after that is the intelligent clearance sensor on and off. So that's supposed to sense, and there's sensors both in front and the back. So it's supposed to sense if there are obstacles both in front and back. So that's useful when you're parking, when you're moving too close to a car, whatever the case might be, or if somebody moves to the front of your car or the back of your car and that's too close to you. So it's a good detection system for you. So there's no really any point to turn that off. The blind spot monitor, what that is there are 2 lights, one on each side of your mirrors, left and right side mirror, on the corners. So if a car comes within a I would say about a 47 degree angle from either direction of your car behind you to exactly where your left and right mirrors are, any moving vehicles within that range will trigger the blind spot monitor, and a little yellow light will turn on your left or right mirror to indicate that there is a vehicle that's moving next to you. And it works pretty well because I've driven through parked cars, and it's smart to know that parked cars are not moving, so the blind spot monitor doesn't even turn on. So it's actually does a good job tracking moving obstacles or moving objects, whatever they might be. I'm not sure if it'll work for bikers, but I think I've seen motorcycles and cars and that work well, but not sure about bicycle riders, so be careful about that. The next one is the lane sway warning status. So this works in combination with the lane departure alert, and it's supposed to alert you when you're drifting off of the lane. So when you're about to drift over the right line or the left line, it beeps to warn you that you're drifting off. And then if you do drift off and you have the lane departure alert with the steering assist on, it will steer back for you. And this is the sensitivity for the sway warning, so you can set it to high, standard, or low. And then this section here is for the heads-up display setting. So actually, sorry, let me turn on the heads-up display so you can actually see the setting for that. So okay, so I just enabled the heads-up display, so now the setting is on, so you can see you have the option to basically increase the brightness or lower the brightness by going left and right, and the up and down is to control the height of the heads-up display in front of the steering wheel. So I have another video that describes that function and the settings, so you guys can watch that if you want to see how that works. And then this section here, you can adjust the miles per hour from miles to kilometers. So if I click on the center button on the multi-directional control, you'll see it switches from miles to kilometers. Okay, straightforward. This is where you set your clock, pretty straightforward. And then right below that, if you push the middle button, it will actually set the minutes to 0. So this helps if you're, if you don't want to keep pushing the button to go from 0 to 30 or something, just set it to 0 real fast. And then if your time is like 1 or 2, then it just saves you some clicking. That's all, no big deal. Meter customization. So this part is pretty important, and then it took me a little while digging to find this. So the first option is to choose simple and split screen. What this does is actually by default is set to simple at the factory or from the dealership. So if you choose to set that to split screen, you will see the main display on the left side change, and you'll see right here it changed from the 0 miles per hour with the bar. That's basically the hybrid system monitor, and I'll show you guys briefly what that is in a bit. The second option is to turn off the screen. If I do that and choose yes, then the multi-informational display turns off. If I push the button, it'll turn back on. Okay. So I'm going to turn it back on, go back to the setting here. And then the last one is the HV system indicator, which is the hybrid system indicator. So by default, it will include the eco accelerator guidance. What that is, it teaches how to drive better, saves more gas and more battery. The electric indicator light on and off, you want that. And then lastly, the EV drive monitor. So before I change this, let me go back real fast just to show you. So on the main screen, on the first screen I should say, which is this screen here, the HV system indicator, you will see on the top left corner, like I was telling you earlier, I'm going to switch to drive mode so you can see. See, look for the top left corner of the second screen here, you'll see it shows 19 miles left to go before I need to charge my battery, right? This is with the AC on. With the AC off, it goes to 20.9 miles, okay? So I'm going to set to parking so it doesn't beep anymore. So what this does is it shows you what's the mileage before you need to charge, which is useful. But personally for me, it's no different than looking at a smartphone or tablet. I would like to know the percentage of the power in my battery. And so you will have to go into the HV system indicator here, go to EV drive monitor and set it to, instead of the EV distance, set it to EV energy. Okay, so now that it's set, I can go back and I'll go back to the first screen here, and you will see now it shows me 92% battery. It doesn't show me the mileage anymore. So I prefer this option, but it took me a little while to figure that out. At the dealership, the salesperson didn't know how to get the percentage to be displayed on the screen, but I was able to discover this myself after I got the vehicle home. So I believe this is useful for most of you who would like to see the percentage mark, just like I would, because it helps you kind of plan. Because with the percentage mark, you can at least do some calculation. 5% takes me there. I need to have at least 10% power to take me from this location to that location, things like that. So without the percentage, it's a little hard to kind of plan for that, because you have to guess how much battery you have in your system. And let's see. So if I go back to the setting real fast, under the meter customize again, that's pretty much done. So now we go to vehicle settings. Not too much here. Under the vehicle setting, charge setting, you get to set your charge schedule, which you can also do on the 11.6-inch screen. You can set when you want to start charging based on your like, if for your utility, if it's cheaper to start charging after a certain amount of time, like 11 p.m. or to let's say 6 or 7 a.m. or something, then you can set that schedule in here so that it does not charge outside of that period and incurs higher electrical costs for you. Or if you want to set the ability to charge right now, if you have scheduled events and you plug in the charging cable, you can come into the car here and tell it to charge immediately without waiting for the scheduled events. Or if you're outside on the external charging station. And this is to show you the next charging event on your schedule. And for some reason, there's an option to change the charge current from max to 8 amp. I'm not sure why, unless you have an issue with the electrical system or something. But typically you want to set it to max, so when you go to external charging station, you can charge at the fastest speed as possible. Which in this case, for the Toyota Prius Prime 2017, it takes about 2 hours to fully charge. And at the external charging stations, or if you have 220 volt system at home, if you don't, you use the regular 110, 120 in-house electrical, it will take you 5 hours and 10 minutes to fully charge your battery. And fully charged battery should last you 23 miles without the AC. With the AC on, it will be about 20.9. And lastly, charging connector settings. So you have the option to change from the manual lock, which is the default setting, which there is a lock button that you can push on right next to the charging connector behind the right side of the car to lock the cable, so that there's a locking pin, so no one can remove the charging cable unless they have the car key, the smart key with them, and push the button to unlock it. And of course you can set it to auto lock and auto unlock, and that all has to do with the smart key. I'm not going to go into that detail right now, but I just want to show you the options. And then lastly, the traction battery heater, if you want it on and off. Typically you want it on because it's supposed to self-maintain the temperature of the traction battery, either by cooling it or by heating it. So you don't want the traction battery to be too cold or too hot. So you should probably leave that alone unless you have good reason not to. Lastly, let me go back to here. So you notice that like I said, if I keep clicking to the right, I can cycle through on the multi-informational display, but you'll also see that because of that split screen that I created here, I can actually move up and down on this side. So you'll see right here on the lower part, the third section here will show you the battery gauge. And not sure if you guys are all going to be able to see, but you'll see the green section on the top 3/4 or so, and then the blue section on the bottom 1/3. So the blue section is not part of your electrical battery capacity. If you run out of the green, your battery's dead. So the blue section is, I think it's just an indication that it's going to start using your gas. So your battery will basically go from 0 to 100 all in that green section. So you basically just pay attention to that top 2/3 of the battery indicator. Or in this case, as I have already shown you, you can look at the battery percentage marker. Right now it's at 91% because I have all these displays on and it's draining the battery. And then if I go back to the left side here, the second section shows you how much of your electrical draw is being used at this point. And then this is your hybrid system. This shows how while you're driving, whether you're in charge mode, if you're using electric vehicle mode, or if you're using the power mode, which means that if you need additional power past the amount of speed that the electrical motor can provide, your gasoline engine will automatically kick in, and that's when you'll see the power mode kick in, and it's in the top section and it will be in red. If you're driving slow speed, you're not ascending super fast or going up a hill that requires a lot of power, then normally you will see that in the fluctuate between the EV range, and that's usually when you're doing city driving. When you're doing freeway driving, you want to use hybrid. You don't want to use electrical, because the higher speed will drain the battery faster. And of course, anytime your car is moving forward, at least, if you're not stepping on the accelerator, the gas pedal, it will start to charge slightly. And when you're braking, and depending on how hard you're braking, it charges the battery as well. So the harder you brake, the more it charges, and that gauge will drop down to the bottom section in the charge section, and the bar will fluctuate based on how hard you're braking. Anyway, I know it's a super long video, but hopefully this is super useful for you. I will do more video to cover the other sections in more detail, and then I'll also do some videos about the 11.6-inch HD multimedia screen that you see here, which also has quite a bit of complication as well. Anyway, thank you for watching, and look forward to additional videos I'm going to post about the Prius Prime 2017. Thank you, everyone.